Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the NFL MVP race after week 1 of the football season. But before that topic, I just got to hear from you guys. Who is your NFL MVP as right now? I know it's early. I know it's way too early. I know it's extremely early. I know this is theorizing. I know this is speculative. But who doesn't love to talk some football? So that's why I'm here. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below your NFL MVP as of post week 1. Getting straight into it, though, I have 3 front runners to talk about. Then I have 3 guys on the outside looking in, and I have 3 guys that are some dark horse candidates to keep your eye on. But again, the 3 front runners, in my personal opinion, is going to go to Kyler Murray. He probably had the blowout game of the week as far as surprise blowout game of the week. Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes are my 3 top candidates as of today. Just looking at Tom Brady right away because he's the first on the list. Second in passing yards as of right now, and he is how old? 44, going on 45. That is very, very impressive. He did have to do this in order to go toe-to-toe with the Cowboys, and as you see right there, Dak Prescott, I'll get into him later. But for him to put up those numbers, he pretty much had to, but still, given his age, that is very, very impressive. 4-2 touchdown interception ratio, you could argue that's not the best ratio, but given the circumstances and the context of what they happened, one was a Hail Mary pass at the end of halftime. I mean, what do you really expect? And then another one was just a mishap by his own player, Leonard Fournette, bobbling up the ball and giving it to the defender. Therefore, I think Brady putting up these type of numbers, 4 passing touchdowns, 379 yards, still got quick release, still got good pocket presence, still being a leader, still leading a 2-minute drive, having a solid quarterback rating for the most part of 97, given context. He's got to be at least in your conversation. Next one, Patrick Mahomes, again, because he's next on the list. 337 passing yards, about as... That sounds like Mahomes, don't it? 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 131.4 rating. It's Mahomes. He's always going to be in the running. He could have an off year. He could throw 5,000 yards or 3,000 yards. And if he's healthy and if he's winning and if the Chiefs are the Chiefs, he's going to be in your conversation. That's just who he is. It's not too much to look into on Mahomes here. But the dark horse before the season, Kyler Murray is proving to the people that picks him as his dark horse, you got a shot. 289 passing yards, not the best ever, no. But it's not all about just yards for the air. Kyler's still a threat on the ground. You just had to watch him. Even though he didn't run for much this game, I believe he had 20 rushing yards, which isn't a lot for Kyler. He ran all over in that pocket, outside of the pocket, behind the pocket, up and down, back and forth. He looked like the Flash back there, and he still pulled it off. He had 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, an interception, but also a rating of 121. This guy took off. This was the player of the week, in my opinion. The Titans were favored. I think a lot of people were kind of iffy on this one, but everyone's slightly leaning towards Tennessee. And if anything, I think if the Cardinals won, a lot of people wouldn't have been surprised. But for the Cardinals to blow out the Titans, and Kyler got some help on his defense with Chandler Jones, but still, for Kyler to go out there and do this, he's got to be in your top 3 front runners for the MVP case. And just given his performance, he's in it for me. I'm not going super in depth, but to me, those are the 3 front runners that are leading the race. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Kyler Murray. The next 3 guys I think that are on the outside looking in is going to be Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, and he's down here somewhere. Give me a second. Russell Wilson. Danger Russ, 254 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kind of a quiet game, but look at his rating. 152.3. That is perfect. That's literally what perfection is. He was efficient. He won the football game. I think a lot of people thought this would be somewhat of a close game, and it was somewhat close. I think it was, 28-13 or 28-16, the final score, something like that. Russ dominated quietly. He had some great deep balls to Tyler Lockett, and those are some highlights, but you didn't hear too much from this game unless you watched it. However, Russ is quietly going on the radar. Most of the times in week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you hear about him because he throws 500 touchdowns and 400 yards. Just because today he didn't have the 400 yards to go with it doesn't mean he shouldn't be in your MVP conversation. And I think you can argue he should be in the top 3 of my front runners. I think all these guys are arguable, but that's just how I'm breaking it down off of week 1. Russ, of course, like I said, is in there. Next one, Matthew Stafford off of Sunday Night Football. And I'm very aware I might be doing this a little bit early since Monday Night Football hasn't played and Lamar Jackson hasn't played, and he was just a former MVP. And with him having no run game, we might actually see him have to hit that next level and be an MVP for this team to be a Super Bowl contender. I get that, but it's Monday after football, first week. I just got to talk about it for now. But Matthew Stafford, again, another guy in my conversation, as efficient as it comes. 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. There was a little bit of luck to this in the sense of how many deep balls and deep touchdowns were just blown away. And I'm not saying I could have made that throw 65 yards on the field, but a Jared Goff could have made some of those blown coverages. So, again, Matthew Stafford did his job. He did great. He dominated this game. He didn't have any flaws. Look at his quarterback rating, 156.1. He looked good, and that's why he's in this conversation. But I just don't think he carried the team. I think the rest of the roster performed well. Again, no discredit to Stafford. I just don't think he's in that number one front-runner class just yet. And then the final one in my outside looking in, got to go to Herbert. Justin Herbert looked phenomenal against Washington. 337 yards. Again, this isn't any specific rankings. I'm not saying Brady was 1, Mahomes was 2, Murray was 3, and then it was Russ 4, Stafford 5, Justin Herbert 6. Those are just my brief jumbling of those players in the conversation. But again, Justin Herbert in the top 6 MVP race, in my opinion, somewhere along there. 337 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This is what's going to hurt him and his rating, 85.2. But given the context, I think against a top 3 defense, first game with a brand new offensive line, brand new head coach, and having a couple plays and calls go completely against him that probably shouldn't have, that favored Washington, and yet Herbert still managed through. I think he should definitely be in your conversation for MVP. And next week, him versus Dak, that is going to be a fun game to watch. These guys can both sling the ball like crazy, and it is going to be fun thing. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Williams. It's going to be looking good, and both of these guys could come out on top on the MVP race, but Justin Herbert's got to be in it for now. And then the final 3 guys that I haven't considered in the top 2 tiers for reason being is Dak Prescott, Jameis Winston, and Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott and Jameis Winston, 2 guys I did not mention in the top tiers of MVP race, is because I think they will be competing for more comeback play of the year rather than MVP. I highly doubt Dak Prescott wins MVP just because he's in the comeback player of the year running in the NFL. Of course, they want to give to as many awards as they can, to as many people as they can, and many blockbuster names as they can. They don't want one guy to hog it all, unless there's, of course, a certain extent to where he blows it away. He just puts up insane numbers, passes 6,000 yards, 60 touchdowns that he has to win both. Then, of course, he can win it, and that's why he's still in the conversation, but not in that same tier, because I think he's more so competing in comeback play of the year, and same exact thing goes for Jameis Winston. And the final one, Jalen Hurts, dark horse pick that wasn't in the same top tiers. He performed phenomenally. Let's see if I can find the stats right here. Jalen Hurts, 264 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and I believe he ran for 62 yards on the ground and blew out the Falcons. This is another surprise blowout game like the Cardinals-Titans that was kind of 50-50. You could have seen either team win, but you didn't expect either team to just demolish the other one, especially the underdog. Therefore, Jalen Hurts is a small dark horse candidate to consider. I just don't think someone out of the NFC East outside of Dak has a huge shot long-term over 17 weeks to have an MVP case. But Jalen Hurts attempted to make a case in week 1, and therefore he should at least be mentioned. But again, my top players, top 3 in the front running is Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, Mahomes. Next best 3, again, in no specific rankings, and I'm not going to argue if you think Stafford should be over Mahomes or Herbert over Brady or whatever it is. I think they're all really close. But again, just to go over one more time, top 3, Mahomes, Brady, Murray, Kyler Murray. Next 3, Stafford, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert. And then the final 3 that are kind of dark horses, got their own issues as to why they may not have a great shot, is Dak Prescott, Jameis Winston, comeback player of the year candidates, and Jalen Hurts. I think he looked good. I think he proved to possibly be a comeback player, proved to be a franchise QB, but I don't see him holding those type of stats 17 games long. And again, Lamar Jackson could very well be in this conversation after week 1. But you guys tell me what you think. That's my week 1 thing. I think things will absolutely change after week 2. But as of right now, that's my MVP race. As always, and of course, guys, thank you for watching.